Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we're back with our good friend, our health, our wellness coach, Lee Grigsby. Welcome back. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you, Jill? How are
I'm
you?
doing great. Thank you. Happy almost Christmas.
Awesome. Yes, so this would be the eve of the eve of the eve of the eve of Christmas.
Yes.
Did I do too many eves? Yeah.
Yes.
That's I'm sure my daughter would get a kick out of that because
Oh,
she's definitely like she's in the Christmas spirit, so that's good. That's good.
gotcha. Great.
Yeah.
Well, introduce yourself, please, and let's talk about Christmas spirit and so much more.
Absolutely. Well, I am Lee Grigsby. I am the founder and coach of LiveAllGood Coaching. You can find me on my website, which is liveallgood.com. You can find me on social media, LiveAllGood Coaching, both on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find me by my name, Lee Grigsby, on Facebook. You can also reach out to me personally through email, liveallgood, the number 44 at gmail.com. And you can call or text at 202-455-6104.
Perfect. And you asked the question, what's
Yeah, I love it, but see,
no,
I
you
love it
say
because I've got you there. You're there. So, what we like to start with, folks, is we want to name things that have gone well. We want to think about anything that's been positive over the last week, because when we do that, that really starts to train our brain for looking for the positive, for thinking positive, right?
yeah.
And it just sets the tone. It sets the tone. Um, so ladies first, Jill,
All right.
what has gone well, what has worked well, and understanding that nothing is too small.
Well, mine are always like the same kind of theme. Usually, it was usually cleaning or kids, but
Right,
we did a
right.
breakfast with Santa this weekend. So got my
Yeah,
sister, her kids together, my kids together. Even my niece from North Carolina came up for a surprise visit. So we had a breakfast with
nice.
Santa at an old little country restaurant, and yeah, it was great.
Amazing.
It was fun.
Amazing.
I mean, even though
That's
part
awesome.
of the breakfast part was the Santa and it's just getting together at that place. It's so magical. It's all decorated for Christmas. It's a little village. It's called Milleridge Village. It's just beautiful. So that made me happy. Oh,
Well,
and then
that's
what else
awesome.
is good? My son's been home on quarantine since last week, but he tested negative the other day. His
Oh,
friend had it. He's already had
yep,
it. So he has no symptoms.
yep,
So I think he's fine. But at first it was like panic mode, like, no, he's got to be home. What are we going to do? And how do we manage? But
sure.
everything's working out fine. And
Well, you know
you
what?
didn't miss breakfast with Santa.
We'll touch on that later, as a matter of
Okay.
fact, because I was thinking about that. What's going on with folks today?
Oh,
Um, so I'm glad that sounds like the breakfast was well. Like I said, breakfast itself is okay, but I'm glad that
I
everybody
had
could get
bacon.
together.
I had bacon. It was a buffet
Nice.
style, but it was fine.
Hey, bacon makes everything better.
Yeah, I prefer there was alcoholic beverages there. There wasn't, but we got some after.
Well, you could have the bacon and bourbon, maybe. I think that
Oh
kind of
yeah, yeah,
fits.
yeah. They had no
You know.
alcohol this year though. But yeah.
So, what has worked well for me? I
Yeah.
will take it that there's been no snow here in DC.
Ah.
Now, I mean, I'm from Ohio, so I'm used to the snow. I'm used to cold weather, but I've been down here long enough. I've been in DC for 13 years. And so, yeah, the no snow thing, I can get used to that. I can like that, you know?
Yes.
So that's what's working for me. Like no snow, no shoveling, no sliding and cars, all of that. Works well.
Good for
Works well.
you. Good.
Absolutely. Um, so Jill, I want to ask you. I want to tell a little story first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a meme, or not even a meme. I'm sorry. This was actually a post, and it kind of ties into like I know that folks are like the angst and anxiety is building a lot more these days
Okay.
because of the new variants of COVID, right?
Oh,
So I just want to mention that, like again, the story that I'm going to tell, this post that I've read, I think goes a long way to talking about that. So the post goes something to this effect, where there was a high school teacher and told her they were learning. I guess it was history, right? So they're learning about the Salem witch trials. Okay. And so she went around to her class and said, okay, look, I'm going to tell you each something in your ear. And then based on what I tell you, you are going to form groups, however you can form groups. And what you want to do is not include a witch in your group.
Okay.
Okay. Then she said, and at the end of the assignment or the class period, I believe the group with the most witches was going to get a failing grade. Okay. So, she sets them off. The kids are, asking each other. They're looking at each other. They're trying to figure out who's a witch and who's not. So at the end of the class, or when time's up, she's like, okay. And so there were some bigger groups, some smaller groups, but most of it was small groups. Okay. A lot of division. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the teacher says, okay, so let's find out who's going to fail and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody who's a witch, raise your hand. No one raised their hand.
Okay.
And then the class is like, well, wait a minute. No, you did the experiment wrong. Like, how could this be? The point was this. She was like, well, I told you all something individually, right?
Okay.
But then based on like how you looked at people, how they were looking at each other, based on who felt guilty, that kind of thing, they started dividing themselves up. The point is not to use your bias, right? Like, lead and share and communicate with each other from a point of love, from a point of acceptance, right? That's what she was trying to get across to her class. Which I think is a brilliant experiment, because it's funny that no one raised their hand and then they're all confused. Like, well, wait a minute, there's no witches. What's going on? So, I mean, that's the thing, right? Were there really witches at Salem, or was it just because someone said there was a witch and someone took that word and said, oh, okay, then they need to be burned, that kind of thing, right? It creates division. So are you really going to are you going to take what someone says
Or
without kind of doing your own investigation, without your own research? What does it feel like, right? Does it feel right to you? I say that because I want to share this about I understand completely the angst and anxiety that people have right now, right? They thought, okay, we're getting on the other side of this. We're starting to, yeah, right? So here's what I want to offer. Right?
Okay.
What is it that you really can control? You can control whatever it is you want to do to protect yourself and your family, right? Whether or not you feel a certain way about mask wearing, okay? Whether you feel a certain way or not about washing your hands, whether you feel a certain way or not about distancing when you can, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, is there really anything that we can control about what's going on? And I know, like, the information and the protocols, those are changing every 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But so folks, sometimes it pays to kind of take a step back, because let's go back 3 years, okay?
Yeah.
Not 30, but just 3. When it's cold and flu season, right? What were flu season pass around classrooms, but we would push that, right? Wash your hands, hygiene. So let's just take a step back and actually can control the things that we can control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I told the story about that high school class that learned about the Salem witch trials, because let's not divide ourselves between, oh, well, you're not vaccinated. Oh, you are vaccinated. Oh, you have a booster. You don't have a booster. Those are personal choices, right? They may or may not be doing something to help this pandemic, but let's not judge people for what their choices are, right? Even if someone chooses to not wear a mask, even if someone chooses not to get vaccinated, for what their personal beliefs are, that's not a reason to judge them. Maybe that's what they feel is the safest thing for them and their family.
True.
So let's let's communicate, let's lead out of acceptance and
Okay.
love. That's what I want to share with people, right?
Okay.
Because with empathy, with some compassion, yes, we're 2 years in, going on another year, right? When this first started, yes, we had no idea what this transmissibility was. We had no idea why people were getting sick, why people were dying. Now we have some information.
Yeah.
We actually can get too much information. I myself was reading some things this morning and then said, you know what? That's enough. I'm going to stop reading because, again, I had to dial it back to what is it that I can do
Yeah.
for me?
Yeah.
What is it that I can do for my family? That's it. And I can't make anyone feel any way or do anything else. But by me going down that rabbit hole of reading more, reading about other people's experiences, and that started to overload me, overwhelm me. So I had to stop. So I just want people to understand it. If you are testing positive, hopefully that's not,
Yeah.
it's asymptomatic or very few symptoms, which seems to be most people these days, unless you've done more to protect yourself. And what that is, that's up to you. So
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to share that, because I
Okay.
know that's a big deal at this moment, but I want everyone to kind of think past themselves a little bit with how they are either going to accept or communicate with other people, right? No,
Yeah.
no judgment, no
Yeah.
judgment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to do, but
Oh, yeah. It's hard here. My goodness. Yeah.
I was reading about where you are, so I
Uh,
can, yeah, I can imagine.
yeah.
It's different. But let's turn the page.
Sure.
Let's talk about something else that I read this a while ago. I don't know when. But do you have a mantra, Jill?
Mantra. Live
Yeah,
life to the fullest. Live life to each and every day.
sounds like a great mantra to me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times when and I have a background with my mantra on it. I wonder if I could switch to it real quick so you could see this. Let's see. Let me find it real fast. There we go. How's that? Can you
Oh,
see that?
wow. I love it. Yes. That is so cool.
So, this is one of the mantras I use, which is connection, gratitude, change, and alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily in that order, but those are things that I use every day. Am I connecting with people? And on what type of level am I connecting with them? What is my gratitude level like? Am I truly grateful for what's going on, or am I having a day where I'm complaining and forgetting about what's important? Right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Change. Am I open to the possibility of changing? Right?
Yeah.
And then with alignment, are the actions and my thoughts and things of my behavior, is that in alignment with connecting with people? Is that in alignment with being grateful? Am I in alignment with being open to change?
True.
So that's why that mantra works for me. um I would be honored if anyone else used that mantra as well, you know.
Oh, I love your chalkboard behind you. That is
Oh.
so cool. How do you do that stuff? I don't even know.
Well, you can make different filters, and then you take pictures and put them on Zoom, and it kind of puts it as a background
I'm
for
out
you.
of the loop. I don't.
I'll have to do it
Wow.
next time too. I have to
Yeah,
do it
you got
next
to
time.
teach me how to do it. That is super cool, man. Seriously. I love
I
it.
appreciate that.
I want more
But
chalk. I like looking. I think seeing is
th-
believing. Yes, that's another mantra.
there it is. There it is. So with our mantras, right? And thank you for sharing yours too. I wanted to talk about um there's like this meme that I saw, and I, like I said, a while ago, but it's the 7 rules of life,
Yeah,
right? And so I want to kind of mention them, and then we can talk about each one of them a little bit.
perfect.
So I got some notes here. But the first one is, and you've heard me mention this before, let it go.
Let it
right?
go. Let
That
it
yeah,
go.
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. Because never let a good day be ruined by a bad yesterday,
Yeah.
right? So you can take so much time in thinking about what happened in the past that it could affect your future, right? Let if it happened already, let it go. Let it
Okay.
go. It does not serve you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Number two would be the way this meme goes, ignore them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means in it says here, don't listen to people. Live a life that is empowering to you, right?
Yeah.
So I can definitely share for me, there's about a handful of people that I really, really am concerned about what their opinion is.
Opinion is okay.
Rest of the folks, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's my path and it's what serves me and I have to live it. I may ask other people's opinions, but whatever anyone else thinks, I'm not really concerned about because it's not them and it's not their choice. It's mine. So you have to ignore that, right? Number three is you have to give it time
Yeah.
because over time, the things that have hurt you, the wounds that you have, they do heal, but you have to give it time. Doesn't happen overnight. Number four is you can't compare. When you begin comparing your life to someone else's life, even if it's someone that you want to be like, then you start putting undue pressure on yourself and you start wanting to be
Mm-hmm.
like that right now. But
Yep.
what do we just say, right? You have to give it
Oh,
time.
yeah.
You have to give it time, but there may be things you have to let go of that you haven't let go of yet. And then you're worrying about other people's opinions, what they're saying. So you can't compare. You can't compare. Number five is what we are kind of talking about with the ongoing pandemic. Stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with not having all the answers. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what the outcome is going to be. That's okay.
The fear of the unknown. There's a little bit of anxiety with that, but
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely, there is. But there's nothing wrong with not having the answer, right?
True.
With the fear of the unknown,
True.
what you do is,
Yeah.
what are you doing in this moment? What are you doing right now? What are you doing in the present? Because that's what helps you take the fear down of
Okay.
the unknown, you know?
Yeah.
And yes, also you get information enough so that you can do and have actions that serve you in the present, but not information overload like I was just talking about, you know? Um, so number six is it's on you. You are the one that's in control of your own happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all about perspective. So if you're looking at that glass as half empty, guess what? Yeah, or all empty.
Like my motto. Mhm.
If you're looking at it as empty and you feel like, oh man, now what? That's a
Mhm.
horrible thing.
Mhm.
Or the perspective is, oh, my glass is empty. I get to refill it. Because a lot of people will say half full, half empty. I like, hey, if your glass is empty, that's awesome. Guess
Yeah.
what? You got so much space to refill it now
Yeah.
with something positive.
Great
So
point.
it's on you for your happiness. Number seven is smile. You got to smile. Life is too short, right? If we have found nothing else, especially during a pandemic right
Yeah.
now,
True.
life is too short to worry about, oh, what car am I driving?
Mhm.
What clothes am I going to get off the rack? It's too short. So
Mhm.
smile, because I'd be willing to bet if you take number seven, if you smile, it starts to make you feel happier, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So then it's on you. So if you're smiling, then you're happier. if you're happier, are you more calm? You're probably going to be more calm, or you might be excited, right? Being
Yeah.
happy can be
Mm-hmm.
excited, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be anxious. You're not going to be worrying, right?
Okay.
So then, if you're happier, I'd be willing to bet you're not comparing yourself to other people or other things. If you're not comparing yourself, you're probably giving yourself time to grow, time to heal. If you're doing that, you're probably ignoring what people are saying. You're probably ignoring everyone else's thoughts and opinions about what you're doing. And if you're doing that, you're letting stuff go. So you see, I just worked the list backwards.
Yeah.
If you start with smiling, right? You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
start with letting it go.
Yeah.
Start with smiling, you know?
Yeah.
But those are like when I read that, I'm like, man, those are pretty awesome rules for life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Simple.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I had to take a quick drink of water
That's
myself.
okay. I stay hydrated myself. I've been trying now because I know I'm sorry, but I will overeat in a few days. So the more liquid I put into my body, and yes, I do have coffee with skim milk. And yes, I have water. Hold on. I have so many water bottles next to my desk because I'm like, I just want to
You
I want to kind of
gotta
cleanse a
hydrate.
little and hydrate
That's
so
right.
I don't eat as much because I'm going to overeat Sunday. I'm entitled.
Hey, but you know what? I love it because you've already planned for it. You know it, and
I'm
that's okay.
preparing my
That's
body,
there you go. That's
shrinking my
okay.
stomach the next 3 days so I could feel like I'm eating more than I am. Smart.
You're
It's true.
preparing for it. Sounds like a good feast coming up.
Yeah, it's true. Pasta. That's all I eat. Pasta.
I love it. I love it.
But you're right. Simple
So
things. Plus, teach our
yeah,
kids the simple things. Yeah. Smiling.
absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing I wanted to mention along with the 7 rules, right? What is one thing that you think is um I don't want to call it a trick, right? But an illusion in life. Not a trick question, but just what one thing that you think is like an illusion.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to say it the wrong way, but it's kind of like the grass is always greener, like the happiness. It's kind of an illusion. Like you think it's kind of not what you're saying, but it kind of is. Like what's an illusion? Like always thinking there's something better. Can that be like an
Hmm.
illusion? Yeah,
Totally.
because yeah, you get comfortable with something, it's great, and you want it, you got it, and then all of a sudden it's like you want something more, or it's not as.
Or
So
you
it's
see
kind of like
something else that you think is better, right?
it's
You're
like a
like,
kid at
oh,
a toy store. It's like gets
yeah.
the toy, brings it home, up, he's over it, he wants something new. So
Or
kind
the next thing. Well, so I got something even simpler than that. And you're
of okay.
right. That is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest illusion in life is control.
Yeah.
Is control. Because how many times as people are we trying to control, and maybe control is a strong word here, but control the outcome of the situation, right?
Okay.
Or if we're not trying to control the outcome of the situation, we're trying to control the other person and their behavior or
Okay.
their thinking, right?
Yeah.
Big illusion. Or we're trying to control what's happening, right?
Okay.
Biggest illusion because it's an illusion because the only thing that you get to control is you.
Is yeah, yourself.
But it's so much easier to point outwards, right? Oh, well, you know what? If I can get this to do this, if I can get this person, or if I can get the situation to turn out like this, right? If you spent that energy in turning inwards, what is it that I can do that's going to help create that situation
That
in a positive way? What can I say that's going to help that person see me for who I
in
am inside,
the
right?
right way. The real yeah,
It,
the true self.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Wow.
What actions can I do that serve the purpose and the result that I'm looking for? That's what you can control. That's it. It's such an illusion because again, we are conditioned to think that we can control the outcome, or I can maybe not control somebody, but you've heard it this way. Oh, I can fix them, or I can help them, I can change them. right? You've heard you've heard
Yeah,
that
shaking
before.
my head. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? That those are the biggest illusions. You can't change someone else, but if you start to change, the reason that they change is they start to see something in you. So it's either inspiration or they're motivated, they don't want to be unequal with you, so they want to change for the better. But that's how that works.
Yeah.
Not I can change someone else or I can get this done. Or, well, no, that's not I can get this done, but I can affect the outcome. You can affect the outcome by doing what you do, you know?
Mm.
So I just wanted to share that too. That is such an illusion, and that happens over the holidays, right?
Yeah.
People get super anxious with all of the hustle and bustle and oh my gosh, I
Birthday.
got to make
And my
this. I got
house
to
has to be this way. I'm like not done decorating. I'm like, well, my family. And then you know what? In the end, no one's going to remember next year if my kitchen's not decorated.
That's right.
They're going to remember the time we had, or they're going to remember the stressed host, like worried about this and that, which is usually me. Oh my God, I'd rather try to be more relaxed and enjoy it. And they will never remember that the decorations were there or not. Outside's
Oh my
decorated. That's all that
goodness. Yeah.
matters. And I got the
Well, because
gingerbread
they
houses done in
oh
the foyer,
yes.
but I didn't do the
That's awesome.
kitchen and it's bothering me. And I'm like, I don't have time. But
We'll see.
what
There
are they
you
going to
go.
remember? They're going to
And I'm
remember. Go
and
ahead.
you gave up control. No, I didn't want to
Yeah,
interrupt. You
no,
gave
I
up control of
do.
that because it's so true.
Ah,
It's so true.
wow.
What are they going to remember? It's the experience, right? That they get to spend time with you and your family. Not, oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Did you see Aunt Jill's kitchen? Oh no, that there was the no. They're going to remember the smells that come from the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll be
Mm-hmm.
cooking food, right? They'll
Yeah.
remember that,
Yeah.
not what was there. That's awesome. Exactly right. Very well done. Proud of you, Jill. It's not about what the kitchen looks like.
It's not. And no one will
No.
remember. They remember the great
Mm-mm.
time they had or the bad time they have. So make it a good time, make it happy, make it positive. And yeah, no fighting,
Absolutely.
no stress.
Absolutely.
I'm always the one like,
That's it.
take your shoes off and make sure. I have to try to pretend that well, no shoes are allowed in my house. So I'm a little anal, but like, I'm always
Hey, that's
overwhelmed
fair.
cleaning up the dishes, cleaning up the table. Like,
Mm-mm.
just sit back and relax for once. I'm going to
Yeah,
try that this year.
that's right. Because you know what? The dishes aren't going anywhere.
True.
You can get to them. Yeah, they'll be there. They won't go
I know
anywhere.
they will. What do you have planned for Christmas? Just curiously.
Actually, just hanging out here at the house with the
Good.
family. That's it. My daughter still believes in Santa, so
Wait,
that's a
how
good
old is
thing.
she?
She's 12.
That's right. It's about
I,
that age, right?
I don't really think she does, but
That
she
you
wants to hold on to it. So hey,
good, good.
yeah, why
That's
bother?
magical. Yeah, mine are 6 and 4, so that's all they believe. So yeah, I'm excited. Got to
Well, they
charge
had
that video
breakfast with
camera.
him. Yeah, they had breakfast with him.
No,
So
that's
they
Santa's helper because he doesn't look like the real Santa that they just saw at the mall. That's the difference. He's the pretend Santa. Break him in slowly. So everywhere I go, I'm
that's
like,
right.
that's a fake Santa. That's a fake Santa. So they know the word fake Santa. And then one day it's like, hey, guess what? They're all fake.
I love it. I love
I
it.
mean,
I love
they're
it.
all real. Oh gosh, you got to be careful. Well,
You're setting it up. You're setting it up. I got it.
okay. All right. We love Santa Claus. We'll be here on Christmas, hopefully.
That's right. That's right.
Help
That's
me out of
right.
this one. We got to close out of this.
Oh well, he's gonna show up on Saturday.
Thank you.
Absolutely, the real
Great.
one will show up.
Thank you. And in closing today, what would you like to leave, darling?
You know what? I just want everyone to again take a moment, step back, and really think about what you can control.
Perfect.
Take a deep breath, go on about your day. It will be okay. Yeah,
Well, great. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How can we reach out to you, Lee?
Well, you can always find me on my website at liveallgood.com. You can find me on social media. That's Instagram and Facebook at Live All Good Coaching. You can find me at Lee Grigsby on Facebook as well.
Right.
You can also find me on, or I'm sorry, not find me. You can reach out to me individually, Live All Good, the number 44 at gmail.com. And you can call or text at 202 455 6104.
Great. Thank you so much, Lee. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Have a great
Yes.
Christmas, and we'll talk
All
next
right.
week.
Yes, we'll talk next
Perfect.
week. Have a great Christmas.
You
We'll
too,
see you.
sweetheart. Have a great day. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.